my name is Taylor, vegan waifu, as a lot of you know me as if you're coming from my Instagram. This is kind of an out of character video for me. I don't really talk about things like this on my main account because I'm a cosplayer, I play video games. This isn't something that I would normally talk about. And I haven't talked about this. I don't think I've said a word about things like this for the year that this has been relevant. I mean, my journey with acne has been relevant since I've been going through puberty. I was never a person who had clear skin since, puberty started. So I'd say since I was 11, 12, I've been dealing with acne consistently. It has varied in severity across the years, but regardless, it's still always been a problem for me. I have seen multiple dermatologists. I have gotten so much different treatment. I've really exhausted my options. There is really nothing left for me to do other than one thing, and I'm going to talk about it. I want to talk about this and be very transparent about it, even though this is something, a few of the topics that I'm going to talk about are things that people generally view as private, that they'd rather not talk about. But here's why I'm going to talk about it. I have been watching many videos of young women such as myself discussing these sorts of issues, and I think it's very important for young women to be open about these things. I was left feeling very alone when I was dealing with these issues, and I still am dealing with these issues. And knowing that there's people out there just like you who are dealing with these things and who can provide insight and suggestions and tips is really the most uplifting feeling, and it makes you feel like you have a community. It makes you feel that you're not alone, which is one of the worst feelings that you can have. I'd like to keep this as concise as I can, but please be understanding of me if this video does become long. That the reason why it is so long is because this is a very emotional topic for me, and this is something that has been such a huge part of my life for years, and I'm going to be talking about things that were really serious and made me upset beyond words. So just be mindful of that. And I really would appreciate it if this is something that you care to hear about, that you watch this whole thing and you really do take in what I have to say, especially if you're also a young woman, because I want you to know that you're not alone. With that, I'll get on with the actual video. I wanted to make a video about my skincare routine because I love skincare so much. It is my passion. But I felt that I couldn't make a video about my skincare without first being very transparent about something that has to do with my skin. So enough beating around the bush. I am going to start taking Accutane in a month. And you might be curious as to why I'm going to take Accutane, because you could look at my face right now and think, she has pretty clear skin. Why would she take Accutane? Accutane is for people who have insane cystic acne that their face looks painful to touch and it's so inflamed and all this. And you're right. Accutane is for those people, but Accutane can also be for people who have mild but persistent acne. And I have very mild but persistent acne. But it's not just that. It's not just the mild but persistent acne that is the reason why I'm taking Accutane. If the Accutane treatment is successful, I will literally never have acne again in my life. I will probably take it for 6 months and be done with it, if it's successful, like I said. And that'll be it. And I won't have to deal with acne forever. Part of the reason why I'm taking Accutane is because I'm a mixed girl, right? So I'm Puerto Rican and white. If you don't know this, people of color often have a higher chance of developing scarring because of their melanin. So I have melanin from my lovely Latina side, and it puts me at a higher risk of scarring, and I have scarring. I have scarring all along the side of my face, and it's been a very big source of insecurity for me for so many years. I have some scarring, smaller scarring along my face, And even if you don't think my scarring is that bad, people have told me, yeah, like your scarring is there, but I don't think it makes you look any less beautiful. Some people say like, I don't even notice your scarring, whatever. That's not the point, really. The point is that acne and my scarring has been such an intense source of insecurity for me for so many years, and I have genuinely exhausted my options of treatment for it. There's literally nothing left for me to do. I've seen so many dermatologists. I've done literally every single treatment in the book. Doxycycline, antibiotics. I've done clindamycin in the morning and Retin-A at night. I have tried the strongest Retin-A on the market, which is Tazorac. There really is nothing left for me to do. Oh, I've tried birth control. Birth control was awful. Like, I'm going to be entirely honest, hormonal birth control was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I have never felt so... Jesus. Talking about birth control and my experience with birth control is like an entire other video. I'm gonna do my best to sum it up. I had the worst possible experience with hormonal birth control. It made me anxious beyond words, depressed. I know that these are things that like people don't really talk about, but like I'm going to be open about it because like I want you to know that if you start taking birth control, because I didn't even realize it was my hormonal birth control until like until the 7 months in, because I stopped taking it after 7 months. I don't mean to like scare you off from taking hormonal birth control, because hormonal birth control is a totally fine option and it works for some people perfectly. And a lot of people said to me like, oh, you just have to find the right pill. Maybe the pill you were taking wasn't right for you. I don't care. Like, I just don't want to take hormonal birth control ever again in my life. I have never felt so unlike myself in my entire life. I felt like I was an entirely different person. It is so uncomfortable to feel like you know yourself for how many years of your life, and then suddenly you act entirely differently. Entirely different. I didn't know who I was for 7 months of my life, and that's a long time to have lost a sense of identity. The smallest things would set me off. I was so sensitive to everything. I would cry all the time. I would be so upset, and there would be no apparent reason for it, and I was so confused. I had no idea it was my birth control. I didn't know. I really just had no idea. And I just want you to know that if a doctor or dermatologist offers you hormonal birth control for your acne, it totally could be fine. It could so work for you. Hormonal birth control didn't even do anything for my acne, if I'm being entirely honest. It actually made it worse, which is not very typical, but it made it worse. And it had horrible effects on my mental health. Absolutely horrid effects on my mental health. I have since been off it for, I think like 3 months now, and I haven't felt better. I feel just like myself again. I feel amazing. I am much happier. I never again want to take hormonal birth control unless there is a reason why I would need to. So coming back from that tangent, I have exhausted my options of treatment. Accutane is my last option, and if Accutane is successful, it's successful 70% of the time, I will never have acne again in my life. So the process of taking Accutane, start taking it at the beginning of August, so I don't have it yet, but they make you get a blood test done. They make you, if you're able to get pregnant, they make you get a pregnancy test. They make you sign like 20 waivers, like, I won't get pregnant, because if you get pregnant while taking Accutane, there's like a 99% chance that your child will have severe birth defects. So, yeah, they make you sign a whole bunch of waivers about not getting pregnant. And not only that, this is something that's important to know if you have the ability to get pregnant. They make you pick a primary form of birth control and a secondary form of birth control. So primary would be things like the pill, an IUD, the patch, there's like a shot that you can get. I personally have a copper IUD because that's the only non-hormonal form of birth control that you can get on the market. So yeah, then you need a secondary form of birth control, which I selected male latex condoms for my secondary form of birth control. It doesn't even matter if you're not active or anything, you still need a secondary form of birth control, because they want to make sure that you won't get pregnant. But yeah, so they make you select your forms of birth control, then they send you out, they say, get this blood test done. So I got my blood test done, then you call them and they make your appointment. Then you have to get a pregnancy test done the day of your appointment. Even if you know you're not pregnant, they're still gonna make you do it, because they understandably want to make sure that you're not causing a child to have extreme birth defects. Yeah, and then you go for your final, I guess, like appointment where I haven't had it yet, but I'm assuming they're gonna tell you like how to take it, everything you need to know, you know, the amount that you're gonna be taking. Accutane is a really bad rap for having really intense side effects: severe depression or suicidal thoughts, hair loss, extremely dry skin, nosebleeds. It's a really intense medication, but the depression side effect is only really if you have a family history of depression. So that varies from person to person. Dry skin can be taken care of by, you know, having a really, really intense skincare regimen that is like very heavy moisturizing and, you know, humidifiers, things like that. So dry skin is something that I'm definitely gonna have to deal with because I already have kind of dry skin, so I'm not really looking forward to that, but oh well, I'm gonna have to deal with it anyway. So yeah, and what I want to do is I do want to update on my journey with Accutane, because a lot of people do that, and I find those videos so helpful, and I want to be able to help people with those things if anybody's curious about, you know, Accutane and like a journey with Accutane, because it's scary. And that's why I was looking at videos about it, because I was like, wow, this is really scary. I want to see videos of people's experiences with it. And it makes you feel a lot more prepared, so I'm going to talk about stuff like that. I'm done. I don't have anything else to talk to you, really. I think I covered all the bases. If you have any questions, you can always DM me on Instagram. I will be ecstatic about answering. I think that this is something, like I said, that more people should talk about, because it's something that people go through. I'm just being honest. I think that people need more of a sense of community with things like this. So, okay, anyway, bye. I'm done. I'll probably film a skincare video sometime. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna try and do updates about taking Accutane.